Men have incels. But what about women? What if there was a female version? Lonely, frustrated, and convinced love has locked them out forever. Welcome to the world of Femcels. And it's darker than you think. So here's the deal. In today's video, we're diving into a side of internet culture that almost nobody talks about. The world of Femcels. You've probably heard of Incels, men who feel locked out of romance and intimacy. But what happens when women feel the same? That's where the term Femcel comes in. This isn't just about dating struggles or being unlucky in love. It's about the silent weight of beauty standards, rejection, and the echo chambers online that can turn frustration into an identity. And here's the twist. Many women might already be living parts of this reality without realizing it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand what femcel culture is, but you'll also see how it shapes the way we think about relationships, mental health, and even ourselves. Part 1. Signs you might be a femcel. Let's start with the signs. How do you know if you're slipping into femcel territory without even realizing it? Picture this. You download a dating app, swipe for hours, and maybe get 1 or 2 matches, but they vanish after a single text. After a while, it feels less like bad luck and more like proof that you're invisible. Many women in femcel spaces describe the same feelings: being passed over, feeling too old, too plain, or simply not measuring up to the beauty standard they see online. And here's something most people don't talk about. Sometimes it isn't just about how you look, but how rejection stacks up over time, leaving scars deeper than we admit. But here's the twist. Most women don't even realize they're carrying this label until it's already shaping the way they see themselves. And that's where the story gets darker. Part 2. The online femcel community. Now let's step into the online world, because this is where femcel culture really takes shape. Researchers studied over 24,000 posts in dedicated femcel forums, and the same themes kept coming up: sexual frustration, resentment about pretty privilege, and the painful sense of being left behind. Imagine scrolling through endless threads where women confess, "A generous, caring lover doesn't exist for someone like me." These spaces can feel comforting at first. Finally, someone else understands. But here's the danger. When hundreds of voices echo the same bitterness, frustration can turn into identity. And here's a new layer. Think about dating apps. Every swipe left or right reinforces the same harsh hierarchy. The internet doesn't just mirror rejection, it amplifies it, turning private disappointment into a public pattern. So what happens when disappointment becomes philosophy? That's where the pink pill enters the picture. Part 3. The pink pill ideology. The so-called pink pill is where femcel culture shifts from personal struggle to a worldview. Think of it as the female counterpart to the infamous red pill. But instead of exposing hidden truths about men and power, the pink pill is about harsh realities women believe they can't escape. It says, if you're not beautiful by society's standards, you're doomed to be invisible in love. On these forums, women trade stories that sound more like confessions than conversations. About being overlooked in school, ignored at parties, or swiped away online. The pink pill tells them it's not bad luck, it's destiny. But here's where it gets unsettling. Once you accept this pill, you stop looking for change. You stop believing you can rewrite the script. Psychologists call this a learned helplessness, where repeated rejection convinces the brain that effort is useless. And that belief can be more dangerous than the rejection itself. Part 4. Sad girl core and mental health. Now we reach the emotional side, sad girl core. If you've ever seen a slow-motion TikTok edit of Lana Del Rey or Billie Eilish with melancholic captions, you've already brushed against this culture. For many femcels, sadness isn't just a feeling, it becomes an identity, a kind of aesthetic to live inside. It starts with harmless posts, moody lyrics, dark selfies, late-night confessions. But over time, the sadness hardens into a community style, where rejection and loneliness are not just shared but celebrated. That's why some femcel spaces feel less like support groups and more like echo chambers of despair. But here's the hidden cost. When sadness becomes your brand, it's harder to imagine life beyond it. Studies on social media show that constant exposure to depressive content can magnify existing anxiety and depression, locking users into feedback loops that reinforce hopelessness. It's not just sharing feelings, it's rehearsing them daily. Part 5. Femcels versus Incels. So how does all of this compare to Incels? On the surface, both groups share the same core: frustration, loneliness, and the belief that love is permanently out of reach. But the way it plays out couldn't be more different. Incels often channel their anger outward, ranting about women, society, and power. Femcels, on the other hand, usually turn that frustration inward. It's less about blaming others and more about blaming themselves. I'm not pretty enough. I'm too old. I'll never measure up. But here's the twist. Whether the anger points outward or inward, the cycle is the same. Both create echo chambers that normalize despair. Some researchers suggest this difference in direction, outward rage versus inward shame, mirrors broader gender patterns in mental health. Men externalize, women internalize. And in both cases, the result is toxic isolation. Part 6. Is there a way out? So here's the question everyone wants answered. Can you escape the femcel mindset? The truth is, there isn't a magic switch. But there are ways out of the echo chamber. Some women talk about the moment they finally closed the forum tab and joined a new community offline. Whether it was a book club, a fitness class, or therapy. Small steps that reconnected them to real people instead of screens. And here's the part most people don't expect. The change doesn't start with dating. It starts with self-worth. Psychologists emphasize that when people rebuild their confidence in non-romantic areas, career, hobbies, friendships, they often find that intimacy follows naturally. The cycle of rejection breaks, not because the world suddenly changes, but because their lens does. Femcel culture says you're powerless. Reality says you can start writing a different story, even if it's just one page at a time. Before we wrap up, let's quickly review the big points from today's video. Femcels are the female counterpart of incels, women who feel locked out of love and intimacy. The online femcel community amplifies rejection, turning private struggles into public identities. The pink pill ideology convinces women that beauty standards are destiny, creating a sense of helplessness. Sad girl core culture transforms sadness into an aesthetic, but often deepens anxiety and depression. The cycle can be broken by stepping away from toxic echo chambers, focusing on self-worth, and building connections outside of dating apps. At the end of the day, femcel culture is less about labels and more about how we choose to see ourselves, and whether we believe change is possible. If this video opened your eyes to a hidden side of internet culture, don't let the conversation stop here. Drop your thoughts or your own experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you found value today, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss what's coming next. We've got more deep dives into the unseen corners of relationships, psychology, and online culture. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next one.